know some of y'all sleep in class. Why would you hang out with them in the first place? You can't travel, but like, do you have the money? I just lie. Why am I attracted to someone when I am not worthy?
Oh my God!
So hello, this morning I just had the urge to film myself thinking out loud some stuff that I have been pondering on. I guess I just wanted to talk about the whole thing about feeling lonely when you're not doing much in your life. This can apply to anyone, like let's say who's taking a gap year or is currently unemployed for whatever reason, or is just not doing much in life basically. Because I found myself this morning just wanting to chat my friends, and then I realized they're all at work or they're either busy with med school or preparing for law school, and I just realized how much my survival up to this point has been about keeping myself busy and learning how to keep myself preoccupied without relying on my friends and their company as crutches. I think this experience is pretty multifaceted in such a way that you learn many different things about yourself and also encounter so many different struggles. Like for example, there's the classic learning how to make use of your time without having to rely on other people to distract you, especially if you're not an expert or like not really good at self-soothing yourself. There's also the aspect of loneliness, like what are you gonna do when you feel lonely but can't really rely on other people to help you cope with the loneliness. Of course, somebody can be there, like you can chat to your friends even if they're at work or at their school, but the fact of the matter is their response is not gonna be as instant as compared to when you were still in college and you had the same break times, or when you were all enjoying summer break, you know what I mean? And of course, I think this experience of not doing anything conventional full-time in my life, like work and school, is very difficult in itself. I don't think I would have been able to come as far as I could to this present day if I didn't have therapy and of course my maintenance psychotropic meds to help me just come into terms with the fact that I'm not doing much. That is in terms of the comparison, like I'm not doing anything, I'm stagnant while my friends are climbing up the ladder or are enriching their minds every day. Although I know some of y'all sleep in class, and I am not calling you out, I am very much understanding. You know who you are. But yeah, no judgment here. As I was saying, I'm lucky to have a very solid group of friends who care for me and have been looking out for me and rooting for me. But that, I guess, just goes to show how even if you have a very secure, caring group of friends, you're still gonna struggle when you have different schedules, especially if you have no schedule at all and they have a packed schedule. What's funny though, or is interesting to me, is the fact that I don't really compare myself. I know I've talked about comparison just a few seconds ago, but the thing is, and at this point, I don't really compare myself much to my friends in terms of like how far we've come or the things that we've done. I think I can chalk it up partly to the fact that I have a secure relationship with my friends and that it has never been a competition. It's us supporting each other in our own paths that are all unique and distinguishable from each other. Of course, not to say that I never compared myself to my friends, especially when I was still fresh into my first leave of absence from school. I compared myself a lot. I was like, oh no, I'm literally getting left behind while they all move forward and graduate. But I think I eventually reached a point where I was like, you know what? What the fuck is the point of me comparing myself? If anything, there's nothing that I can gain from it. And of course, when I say that, I'm not speaking from a gain from it because I have a future to live for kind of thing, because as most of my friends know, I am very much depressed and have been for quite a while now. It's more of just like, at the present moment, I don't have anything to gain from it. Like, how does it make me feel? How does that make me think? There's just nothing beneficial that comes from comparing myself with my friends. So I think at one day I just decided, you know what? This isn't worth it. So I'm not gonna do that anymore. So yeah, I haven't really compared myself to my friends in a substantial, significant way in a while. Of course, I get fleeting thoughts about how like, oh, they're in the third year of med school now. They're getting paid at work now. They have such very extensive resumes while I haven't even graduated. But it's just that fleeting thoughts, you know, nothing substantial, and they don't really last long enough for me to feel bad about myself. What's more of an issue is the boredom and the loneliness that comes with having friends that are all too busy and are all preoccupied with catching up with life, not getting left behind because their lives are so fast paced while mine is so slow. That has been difficult for me to grapple with, even though it's been a few years of me grappling with this and it's still a struggle every day. Like I said, what spurred me to make this video was the fact that I didn't have anything to do this morning and I wanted to chat my friends so that we could talk about like fan fiction or writing or anime, and I can't bring myself to do so because they're all offline because they're at work or at school. And I'm not gonna end this video by saying like, oh, but the moral of the lesson is I learned how to live with myself and I learned how to spend time by myself and learned how to be alone with myself. I don't want to end this video on a positive note. I mean, I do, but like, I don't want that to become the trend of my videos where I just glaze over all my struggles and all the negative things to tie it with a pretty bow at the end of it so that you can leave this video with an elevated mood. I don't want that to be the trend. I just want to be real. Maybe so you can leave this video having learned something new. I can share the things that I've learned about myself and things that I've learned in general being in this situation for almost 3 years now. This situation being a bum, basically. The first one is that it is very crucial to have a relationship with yourself, a healthy relationship if that's even possible. And I'm not talking in the general sense, I just mean you have to learn to be comfortable with spending time alone and have hobbies that don't have to be done with other people. You can just do them by yourself. And I'm lucky enough to be an introverted person in the first place because most, if not all, of my hobbies were all done in solitary. So I already had a repertoire of stuff that I could do and have been doing my entire life that I can just keep on doing during this time of being a bum. That didn't require the presence of my friends or that didn't require to be done with other people or in the presence of other people. So I guess if you're extroverted and are in a similar situation, it makes things a little more complicated for you. But I guess this is an opportunity then to go out and meet other people who have a more flexible schedule, to go out and join events that allow you to meet other people. But for me, it's just been a process of reintroducing myself to the hobbies that I've always known, and also exploring hobbies that I've always wanted to try but never had the time to try because I was so busy with school. So for me, that has been writing, and by writing I mean writing creatively. For those of you who don't know, I write fan fiction. I'm not gonna say for which fandom, but I do write fan fiction, and for most of my life I never juggled writing creatively with school because I thought that I just couldn't do both. So now that I don't have to go to school and I don't have to go to work, I have just been writing a lot. Not much these days, but I did go through a phase where I was just almost writing every day. So that has been fun. So I guess that's number one. The next one is kind of hard here, but I would say the second thing is that you have to be more proactive with planning stuff with your friends. And I mean, this could apply too if like you were working or if you're in school. But if you're in the same situation as me and you are a bum right now, I think our situation kind of pushes us to be the other friend in a friendship group, to be the one to initiate things and to invite friends out to go eat, to hang out and stuff like that, because frankly, we just have more of the time, and more of the thinking space to plan these out. And if you're like me and deal with the fear of rejection, then that's something you're gonna have to work out as well. But the thing is, you don't have to push yourself to invite people you're not comfortable with, because why would you hang out with them in the first place? So as a baby step, you can always just try to invite someone who you know will be gentle with you, maybe in postponing or taking a rain check and rescheduling if they can't come at a specific time that you suggested. But just someone who will be gentle with you with your invitation and will be appreciative of your invite. So that's the second one. The third thing, which is kind of related to number one and makes me wish that I put this as number two, is the invitation to find something to be preoccupied with during this time that you're not at school or at work. For me, that has been writing creatively, as I've said earlier, but that has also been video editing, making singing covers, basically YouTube stuff, but also learning how to live alone, cleaning after myself, reading. I have been reading a lot, not just books, but also fan fiction, of course, and also manga. I recently just got into Skip and Loafer, and that is a very intense hyperfixation. If you can see, I will zoom that in, but I have started collecting the manga, and it's a problem. But anyway, find something to get into. I think that's going to be a huge help in learning how to deal with the sudden surplus of time after having been busy for the huge chunk of your life. And I don't just mean this in a distracting yourself kind of sense, because as I've learned from my therapist, using the term distraction kind of makes it sound like it's not really a worthwhile thing to do and that it's just a momentary thing to keep you preoccupied while you're not doing real stuff or commendable stuff or proper, appropriate stuff. So instead of saying that you're using these things as distractions, they are endeavors, noble endeavors that you are partaking in and spending your time in because they make you happy. They don't necessarily have to be endeavors that make you improve or make you be a better person, although that is a plus. They just have to make you happy and fulfilled and feel rewarded at the end of the day. The next one, and do you like the location change, may not apply to everyone, especially those with unfavorable family conditions. But for those of you who are going to live with close family while you're not at school or at work, now is also a good time for you to cultivate the relationships that you never really had the chance to because you were away. So for me, that was my relationship with my parents and also my bigger sister, who is also now a mom, and also my nephew and my brother-in-law and our house helpers. I've been able to really spend more time with them being at home. I mean, I'm not home now, but when I was still back at home, I was making sure I spent a lot of my time with them, talking to them, and I think I can chalk that up partly to the fact that I have anhedonia, which is the inability to feel pleasure, but also executive dysfunction in the form of not being able to initiate tasks. So I can't really do much because of those two. So that propelled me to just really seek out the people in the house and form a bond with them, spend time with them, and that has been fun. And of course, it'll be weird for me if I don't include anything along the lines of using this time to plan your life or to figure out your goals, your dreams, your aspirations. But if that works for you and you feel okay to do that, then by all means go. I think having the time to reflect now is really good for you to be able to do that, and also taking the time to reflect now will help you make sure that you'll be on the right track or once you start resuming to move. But for those like me who cannot do that or struggle with the idea of a future and are depressed or anxious or just any sort of mentally ill, this is a reminder that you don't have to do all that. If the idea of a future triggers you or causes very distressing feelings, then by all means, don't think of it. Enjoy the present moment. You have all the time in the world. Although it does get old, I mean, at least for me, having all the time in the world, but also the idea of going back to school is not an option for me, at least right now. So I just take the lesser evil, you know. But as I said, although it does get old for some people, the fact that you have all the time in the world now after not having any time at all, having been busy with work or school, is very freeing, actually. Although, of course, money is an issue. Like, you can travel, but like, do you have the money? I'm speaking to myself. Anyway, as far as finances allow, you have the freedom and the opportunity to explore your interests. So take the time. Take the time now to do that. And try your best not to subscribe to the pressure or to the belief that you have to make the most out of every moment right now because you're not doing anything. You have to be productive. And by being productive, that means planning for a future, taking a step towards that future as much as you can. I mean, yeah, that helps, but like what forced you to take a break in the first place is probably the pressure and everything just being too much. So why would you carry that mindset and that belief over to the present moment? I know I've talked about comparison and my relationship with it, but there's also the insecurity of being a bum. I don't really hang out with strangers anymore. Like, I don't have any reason to because I'm very happy with my current group of friends and my family. But when I do have to hang out with strangers and I have to talk about myself, I'm suddenly struck with the fact that I have to introduce myself and what I am doing, or the lack of which. And so that has been something that I struggled with. As I've mentioned before, like, the idea of going back to school is pretty blurry for me. But when I have to introduce myself, I generally just say that, oh, I'm still in the leave of absence and I'll be going back to school and blah blah blah. I just lie because I think I'll be taken the wrong way and like they'll have a bad impression of me if I said I'm out of school. I have to hint at the fact that I'll be going back to school, or else they're gonna think negatively of me, you know? And I guess that frustrates me because, like, why do I have to do that? But I also understand where I'm coming from, boredom. But that's in a general sense of insecurity. But it surfaces the most, I guess, when I find myself being attracted to someone, because then it spurs the whole, why am I attracted to someone when I am not worthy? Sorry, but I am not in a state that is worthy of love and connection. Which is so sad to say, but like I've talked about this with my therapist, and I ended up realizing that the two things that I'm insecure about when I'm dealt with the idea of attraction and romantic relationships is my weight, because I gained a lot of weight because of my depression and my meds, and also the fact that I am not a graduate and I am out of school currently. But then she asked me, like, isn't it a good thing even that you're attracted to someone, so that at the very least there's something normal about your situation, like you're still capable of being attracted to someone? And I'm like, I realize it's because I only allow myself to feel attracted to someone or to consider the idea of romantic relationships if I feel like I am deserving of it. So that means if I am up to the standard that I set for myself that is capable of love and belongingness. So when I'm considering those two factors, that means I am in a normal weight, that I am slim and I am fit, and that I have graduated and I'm working towards something career-wise. So I guess that's just something that I wanted to share as well, because, you know, as a hopeless romantic, it's something that I don't think I can avoid. And I think there are many of you who are the same as me, or at the very least, we're all humans. We all crave belongingness. So I think the idea of romantic relationships, or even just relationships in general, can be daunting if you're in the same boat as me, because it might make you feel inferior, or you're not in any way deserving of companionship. And I don't think it's my place to say that you are, because I don't believe it myself. So I'm not gonna say that, but I just wanted to share what my therapist said, so that maybe that's something you can think on and consider for yourself. But at this point, I still find other people attractive, but I don't think I can place myself in a situation where I will go for someone, because just frankly, I don't think this is so sad. It's just frankly that I don't think I am a great person right now. I think I'm a good person. I am kind. I am accountable. I treat people well. But, you know, good and great are different things. So, to be real with you, I don't know who I'm doing this video for, aside from me, of course, so that I get to talk nonstop. But if for some reason this finds someone in a similar boat as me, then I hope this has helped you. Sorry, I just found a grain of rice and I needed to throw it out. I hope this helps you. But yeah, this has been fun. Obviously, I didn't prepare for this video. I will try to film more just chit-chatty videos, but also, you know, planned out videos that are not like this, for the pleasure of my 5 viewers. And if you've reached this point, like, thank you. That's literally a thank you. I'll see you in the next one.